Funny story, actually. I got banned on Tinder for that business. I would.
Welcome to Sunny Side Up Podcast. I am your host, David, and today I have with me. Go ahead.
Oh, you? Oh, me. Oh, you. I thought you were introducing me. My name's Chad Whittfeldt.
Okay, so what do you do?
Today, I work with real estate investors, and we build done-for-you acquisition systems. Now, it's a long story to get here, but today, that's what we do.
Okay, so what was the? I didn't quite get the real estate, and then what was the acquisition?
Yeah, so we build done-for-you acquisition systems for real estate investors. So we work with syndicators, funds, wholesalers, come in, build out their entire process, automate it, fill it with traffic, send deals through the pipeline, and partner on the upside.
Okay, I see. I just haven't heard that term before.
Yeah.
So you started with a lawn care business when you were a kid, right?
Yeah. Well, at the time I was 18. So technically a kid, yeah, by my standard, by society's standard, right? People think you're an adult when you're 18. Certainly not the case, but yeah, I was a young lad, money hungry little kid, and had an opportunity. I was working at a country club, and I had these guys who would hang out, sit at the bar, and tip me well. One of the guys, he had to kind of throw in the towel, drinking with his buddies because he had to get home to finish his backyard remodel, or his wife is going to tan his hide. And he was just dreading it, complaining about it. His buddies were giving him a hard time because he had to leave early, so on and so forth. And I just saw an opportunity. And I said, "Hey man, you live right down the street, right? Why don't you just let me come take a look at that after work, and we'll see what we can do. See if I can get something together for you." And truth be told, I had no idea what I was doing. The only experience I had was pulling weeds with my mom as a child. That was it. Right. And so I kind of just pulled a number out of thin air, and I don't know, it's probably $3,500 or something. And $3,500 will get it done. And, I call up 3 or 4 of my buddies from high school and say, hey, meet me here at this address, 7 a.m. tomorrow with every gardening tool in your folks' garage, and let's get this done. I'll pay you $25 an hour, paid lunch. They're like, all right, cool. Right. They're making like $10 an hour. So I dropped everything they did, and we banged it out in 2 days. And, see a group of young guys working their butts off in the neighborhood, and, people walking by or driving by started asking us, hey, what's the name of your company? I have a job up the road. Do you have any business cards? Oh, no, sorry. Fresh out of business cards, but here's my phone number. We're the Green Thumb Solution, or whatever I pulled out of my butt. And so it was really a hodgepodge of a business. It was really just a hustle to make some cash, and it worked. We did that for a couple summers, and did 6 figures every summer. But it was never.
Really?
I was so young. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were getting after it, and but it was never bigger than me. It was just me hustling some jobs and pulling some guys to come help me, and I was on the job, and that was it. I never really understood, building a team, building systems, processes, scale, things that really go into creating a business and not so much a hobby. But I'm really grateful for that because it taught me so much along the way.
6 figures. That's, for an 18-year-old kid, and you said a couple of summers, so like a young adult, as we said, that's a staggering mark to make. That's good money for a kid that age.
Yeah, that was one thing. I actually had this conversation not too long ago. That was one thing I got from my grandfather. My grandfather, rest his soul, but as a kid growing up, this is just the Midwest way. Like as a young man, like if you're not working, you're not producing, you're not making money, you're not going to be much of a man, right? And I kind of grew up with that methodology from him, essentially my entire life, and it just made me revenue focused at a very young age, for sure. So.
That's good they had somebody to teach you that. So after that first job that you got, then what was your I guess, linear business model after that? Like, how did you continue to get jobs, and what kind of jobs did you get after that?
Yeah, it was really mostly like landscape remodeling, right? So people
Okay.
would have, overgrown terraces and things of that nature in their backyard that need to be completely demoed, retarped, remulched, redone. And so that was probably the large contingent of the things that we did. We didn't ever really do like ongoing maintenance. We weren't like cutting lawns and stuff like that.
Okay. So, like, how long did you do that like, when you started the business to when you ended it to move on to what you do now? Like, how long did you do that for?
Yeah, so that was 18. So let's call it 3 summers. I did that for 3 summers and then went away to college and didn't really want to, keep going back to do that. And so from then I just started flipping electronics on eBay. At that point I had some cash saved up. And so I was just the guy who, if you had a broken iPhone, laptop, it was time to upgrade to the new iPhone. Like, I was the guy who would give you cash and beer money for your iPhone in college. And I would go sell it on eBay for parts or in working condition. And again, that did 6 figures run rate as well. And I did that for
Man.
probably 2 years, 3 years. Again, though, it was just a hustle. It wasn't really much of a business. Funny story, actually. I got banned on Tinder for that business. I would set up Tinder profiles with it would be like a picture of I don't know if I used my real picture or not. I can't remember. And then in the bio, it would just say like cash for electronic, broken iPhone, laptop, etc. Want some money for the weekend? Swipe right. And I would just swipe. And I'd, Craigslist ads. I would put flyers up. Tell your friends. I'll send you a referral commission, whatever. So yeah, dude, I would just had stacks and stacks of electronics, and I would just be dropping stuff off the post office every single day. So that was my second business. My third company, I had a very, very unprofitable exit. That company actually left me pretty high and dry. Wiped me pretty clean out of the black and put me in the red on my entrepreneurial career. Shortly after that, I moved to Colorado. Met a group of guys who were buying apartment buildings using a model called syndication. Closed my first 83 unit apartment deal at 23. Started consulting in other syndication companies using a lot of these systems and processes that I was talking about earlier. At this stage, they weren't nearly as refined and robust as they are now. And then, now I just move active income into passive income, constantly investing as an LP in a passive real estate deals, get equity share in active deals, work with a lot of education models, things of that nature. So pretty much just digital marketer in real estate, essentially.
Okay. How did you find out about and get involved with the apartment complex?
Yeah, great question. That was actually just, I would used to just say it was random luck. However, I think it was just a position from God, really. I was just, I was out riding my mountain bike, and I was brand new to Denver, Colorado. I didn't live there for more than 24 hours. And I just wanted to meet a friend. I didn't really know anybody there. I moved there by myself. And I just struck up a conversation with this young guy. And, I was just like, what do you do, man? It's a sweet bike, da-da-da, let's ride sometime. And he's like, yeah, just, getting started with these guys looking to buy some apartments. I was like, what? No way, man. And so, yeah, that's just struck up a random conversation. And within 12 months, I closed the deal with those guys. So
That's crazy. You just randomly found this guy riding dirt bikes. And then,
yeah. One thing I always say, man, the number one and like asset I think anybody has is a nice smile. Like if you can like smile at somebody, ask them how their day is going. You're courageous enough to be charming, and have a genuine interest and genuine conversation with other people. You just be amazed at the doors it can open for you. Just be a likable person.
Yep. I was just talking about that on my last one, of how, going through life and being like the Karen type, where you're just really demanding. It's never going to get you very far. I mean, you may get what you want right here and now, but nobody's going to want to work with you in the future if you're always that person. So I mean, like you said, just have a friendly face.
Yeah.
But what reason do you have for not treating somebody with respect when you just meet them?
Yeah.
You never know.
You know what, man? I'll actually take that one step further. I'll have a pleasant and friendly significant other as well. My sweetheart is the nicest, kindest, most outgoing person that I know in the entire world, and I call her my superpower because it's incredible, the conversations and the environments and the networking that she just, us as a team go out and she breaks the ice for. But that can go a very different way, because I know guys whose significant others and spouses are just miserable to be around. So pick a good partner who can be your networking tool as well.
Like they say, behind every influential man is a strong woman. Kind of like the eye behind the eye, the supportive person that kind of helps build that man into who he is.
Absolutely.
So wait, you said, going back to the apartment thing, we kind of got sidetracked.
Yeah.
You said that you were in it with a group of people, or is it just that one guy?
Yeah. So syndications, syndications are done. You have your general partnership. The short term for that is GP. These are the managing team. They're going out, finding the deal, underwriting deal, placing the debt on the deal, managing the apartment, or managing the property manager of the apartment. Just all around, they're the operator of that asset. They're putting the deal together. Right? On our GP, we had 5 of us, including myself. And then you have your pool of LPs, limited partners. Those are your passive investors, right? They don't really do much other than write a check for the deal. You provide them a preferred return out of the cash flow of the asset, and that's essentially syndication in a nutshell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, when you met this person, did you mention the other businesses like the Lawncare and the electronic selling? Did you use that money to help with the introduction into the apartment complex, or was it something else?
No, like I said, I had lost a large, significant portion of that income I had made on my previous business venture that failed. That's a whole nother story. But so no, I just used pure hustle and determination. So I would probably dial, I don't know, 120 brokers per day, and develop relationships with different brokers in different markets, to get real estate properties sent to our underwriting team.
Okay. That's, talk about hustle. That's it. 120 calls per day.
Yeah, it's funny. People, stop calling me. I'll stop calling you once you send me a great deal. Like, I just keep calling them. It was fun though. I enjoyed it. It definitely gave me some thick skin,
Mm-hmm. So after that apartment deal, how did your real estate career end up? Like, how did it go from there?
Yeah, so we put some deals across. We started getting on they started a podcast. We started getting on podcasts, started getting invited to speak on stages. Just because we took down some pretty great deals very, very quickly. So, the average person, they don't do a deal. They don't do 3 deals in their first year. So we started getting some eyes on us. Then we wanted to put on an event. and started filling our stage with other real estate operators. And so from there, my name and my network grew really, really quickly of people who were, top 10% real estate operators in the world. And they were seeing a lot of the stuff I was building out for my company. And they would approach me all the time and say, Chad, how can I see what you're doing. I see all these systems and all this stuff you're doing for accredited investors and brokers and these events. Like, how can I get you to build that stuff out for me? And in the beginning, I didn't really know. Like, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't really know what I was doing from an agency consulting perspective. And so I called it my ugly redheaded stepchild of a business, because it was just throwing random proposals at a wall. Basically, there wasn't really a whole lot of thought and methodology behind it like there is today. And then, I was just able to leverage my superpower to work with, a broader pool of operators.
Okay. You mentioned the the networking and the speaking on stages. What kind of names did you work with?
Yeah, probably some of the the biggest names. Really, I don't really care to name drop my my people, to be honest. Primarily because for two reasons. One, I think using somebody else's credibility kind of takes away from my own. And then number two, at this place and at this stage, I don't idolize others, right? I see myself at the same playing field as a lot of these guys. So, now don't really care to name drop, but we work with, like I said, top 10% of real estate operators, and have built a good name for ourselves from that.
Okay. You mentioned the speaking on stages. Was that real estate seminar kind of things?
Yeah, we get invited to come speak on other people's platforms, and then had our own platforms as well. So,
what was that like? That must be pretty honoring to teach people. Where did you go for that?
Yeah, in the first time, it's really quite nerve-wracking. The first time you ever do it, it's quite nerve-wracking. From there, it really just becomes almost second nature. You just just in general, like anything in life, I think over time you kind of get desensitized. And so, one thing I did wrong, I can say for certain, one thing I did wrong during that phase is I built a really solid network, but I didn't necessarily always capitalize on that network at the highest level. And I see this happen pretty often. People will go to conferences, meetup groups, wherever they go to build their network, right? Whether that be they want to get around high net worth individuals, they want to get around different operators in a specific niche or a specific business, etc. So they get in the proximity of those people, but once they leave, they don't really focus on the quality of input with that cultivating from that network, from that relationship. And that was something I did wrong for a long time. I didn't call it relationship maintenance, right? And this is something I really feel really passionate about, because you can have, like I said, you can have a really solid network, but it doesn't actually become fruitful for you. And that was me for a while. And so there's some specific things I do now to really tap into my network instead of just having it there. And so one of which, a couple of them, is going to be singing praises with your network, right? I'll give you an example of that. Let's say you and I are friends on Facebook, and I see David closed a $10 million deal last week, posted on his Facebook, right? Fantastic. The average person is just going to go heart the post and leave a comment and say congrats, right? I do something a little bit different. I'm gonna pick up the phone and call you and say, dude, I'm so proud to see the progress you've made in doing deals over the last year. Like I just want you to know, man, I see you. I'm so proud to see the progress you've made. Like, and I also just want you to know if there's anything I can ever do to help and add value to whatever you have going on, I'm always a phone call away. Right? Send them a gift card or something. Right? It's a very, very different thing, right, than just liking and commenting on somebody's post.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. And then the other thing too, and I've learned this a lot more recently as well. It can be really challenging. I think this is something a lot of people in the beginning stages struggle with because it can be challenging to do this from a really, really genuine place and expect nothing in return. Right? That's the hard part, right? Because especially when you get around like really, really high net worth guys, they can smell that. They can smell it from a mile away. Like if you're just trying to get around them to benefit and to gain off their coattails and their success, they will smell that from a mile away. And so, yeah, being genuine, being an expert and having value to give, singing praises, going above and beyond, and then you have to do it like from a prolonged place and never expect anything in return. And so,
Some words of wisdom for sure. Well, I want to thank you for coming on.
yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that last part especially was a very, I felt, heartfelt. What would you call soliloquy? I guess. Just I could tell that you were really, really thinking about that one.
Yeah, I think you could have 100 million plus in deals in your network and never see a dollar from it for so many different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've just been far more perspicacious around how I navigate that just in general. And I think I got it figured out pretty good now because it's certainly my network has become far more fruitful because of it.
Mm-hmm. So before we go, where can the people find you on social media if they want to?
You can find me at Chad Whittfeldt on social media.
Okay.
So,
Thank you again.
yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Until next time.